Hi, welcome to my presentation entitled JSTOR Journals and Books, introducing a how-to LibGuide. Before we get started here, let me share with you the LibGuide in question in the chat. All right, I just sent it to you. Hopefully you can all give me a thumbs up to let me know that you got it. Close that. My name is Phil Irwin. I am the creator of the LibGuide I just shared, and I'll also be leading you on this presentation today. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the target users for this LibGuide. The users of this LibGuide primarily will be undergraduate students at a four-year college or university. And primarily, they will be majors or minors in fields in the humanities and social sciences. This is primarily because that's the target audience for JSTOR. JSTOR is a uh, periodical and ebook database that provides materials primarily in fields related to the humanities and social sciences, and they support research in those fields through a large body of full text journal articles and uh, uh, ebooks. They also have large collections of images and primary sources. The reason why they are mostly relevant for humanities and social sciences is because they have an embargo of 3 to 5 years, which means that recent publications or current publications are not included in the database, which would make it really challenging for uh, folks in the STEM fields to make good use of the collection. Even though there are STEM materials in the collection. Just to give a sense of my role, let's see my picture, there it is, all right. My role was to create the LibGuide, both in terms of its structure and its content. So I provided an outline for the LibGuide that walked through a sort of general introduction to JSTOR, gave an overview of the relevant content and collections, walked through specifically how to conduct basic and advanced searches, how to use filters and facets, how to use the research tools, and many and various things in between. So my role was to take all of that content, provide a structure for it, organize each tab within the LibGuide to optimize the learning experience so that you could sort of progress through each tab in a sort of sequence, or you could just pop into one tab or another and get the information that you need. Um, so so that people can learn in a self-guided way. Since I won't be there to guide them through, I wanted it to make some logical sense. And then in addition, my role is to update the content when needed. So if something within the JSTOR database changes, I need to go back into that LibGuide and update it and make sure that the information is up to date, accurate, and useful for all of our users to jump in and learn how to use JSTOR and its collections for their research. Some learning outcomes that I established at the beginning were to give and I sort of ran over this at the very beginning, but I wanted everyone who uses this LibGuide to become familiar with what's in JSTOR, what can they use, what do they have access to, and this was particularly focused on the journals and books collections. So I provided an overview of that content in the first body tab of the LibGuide. I wanted users to know how to browse. That it's not just about going in and having a specific search prompt, but maybe they have maybe a user is trying to see, okay, I just want to know, generally speaking, what's in the collection before I start thinking up a search. Maybe I want to see if there's a specific collection of journals, or maybe I want to see if they have a specific book that I'm looking for, or I should say, if they have specific types of books that they're looking for before they really dig in and start trying to search. It also helps to browse to get a sense of whether or not your searches are working. If you have a general sense of what's in there, what's in the collection, you can have a better idea of whether or not your searches are actually grabbing the materials that are in there. And regarding searches, I wanted to make sure that if you jump into this LibGuide, you know how to search using a basic set of search terms or phrases in a basic big box search. That big white box is right there in the middle of the screen. You can use a basic search if you're just, sort of trying to get a very general sense of what the collection has with respect to one topic or another, or one author or another, et cetera. And then advanced searches, if you've got a very sort of specific research topic that you're developing, and you have a very specific set of research that you want to find in JSTOR, giving users the tools they need to do an advanced search. And then once they do a search, having having facility with filtering and refining searches. So using the filter and facets features, figuring out different ways to narrow their search results, and using the tools that JSTOR has built in to accomplish that. Which leads to the last point, which is making sure that they know what the research assist tools are in JSTOR and how to use them effectively. To implement this LibGuide and assess its effectiveness in helping users, I built in a survey. The survey is on the front page of the LibGuide in the bottom right-hand corner under my beautiful picture. So users can leave feedback, letting me know how effective this LibGuide was for helping them learn JSTOR. I also will take feedback via email, and I encourage that in the LibGuide as well. To implement, I want to get that feedback and review what users are saying, and that will be taken both from the survey results, but also from the emails that come into my inbox that give me more substantive feedback. After reviewing and assessing the feedback I'm getting, I will develop revisions to address any user feedback. If they're having difficulty understanding a certain feature, or if they're having an overall negative experience, I'm going to go back to the drawing board and see what I can do to improve the user experience. Through this process, I learned a few different lessons. First, less is more. Going through a LibGuide that just is a wall of text is really rough. So trying to limit the amount of text, even though explanations are important and information is important to deliver in text, you want to mix it up, use multiple media to limit the amount of content that's thrown at somebody on a page. I wanted to also keep accessibility in mind. I wanted to make sure that the text font was large enough that people could read, and that the contrast was good. So I kept the default settings there to make sure we had good contrast. And then if there were images or video, I wanted to make sure that those were expandable, zoomable, big enough for people to read and to interact with. Insights from this experience relate to JSTOR. A simple interface helps. If it's simple and straightforward, and people can engage with it in a way that seems familiar to them, it really will help the search experience. Research tools are a big plus. Using things to help save your search and to come back and collect and organize your research in a coherent way really helps the search experience. It's a nightmare if you've done a search and you can't save it, or if there's an article you found, you didn't really have the ability to download it in the moment, but you wanted to come back to it. Having the ability to hold on to that and to return to your search is really important. And then also being very careful with vendor documentation. JSTOR has a lot of really helpful articles and media to walk people through the search process, and some of those are linked and embedded in the LibGuide presentation. But a lot of the vendor documentation is also very much promotional material. They're definitely trying to upsell their product. So keeping all that in mind, I try to deliver a LibGuide that gave users really useful information to help them get started researching in JSTOR. Thanks for your attention. I really appreciate your time, and happy searching.